Hi guys, Jurassic Junkie here. So Friday is upon us now, we're all going to have a good weekend. So to start us off, let's get these sponsored by a drink, which is a pint of vodka, believe it or not. You might be thinking, Jurassic Junkie, that's probably water. You did say you was going to go on a diet, which makes sense because you can't have beer when you're on a diet, so that's probably water. But I would say you're liars. I swear on EA's life that isn't water. There's a few things that have caught my eye this week, but before I actually start discussing about them, there's two things I want to get out of the way. One is Microsoft rumours, and two is another piece of Wii U news, and they are the horrible but ever-growing rumour that the Microsoft's new Xbox, aka Durango, aka Xbox 360 723 thingamabob, is online always, and it looks like that rumour's been crushed at last. But again, this is a rumour, but this sounds a very strong truth that Microsoft has actually issued an email to the internal staff simply saying that the Durango is not going to be online always. In fact, what they did say is, there are a number of scenarios where we expect users to go without internet connection, and those should just work regardless of the current connection and status. Those include, but are not limited to, playing Blu-ray discs, watching live TV, and yes, playing single-player games, which is awesome. So therefore it sounds like the online always is going to be there for when you're playing online, which makes sense, which is good. I'm happy a person now that has come out. And the second thing I want to say about the Xbox is Doritos Crash Course 2 is out yesterday. I'm yet to actually download it. I'm going to be doing it as soon as I finish this video, and if you've not played the original Doritos Crash Course, it's an amazing fun game. Say it's free, and obviously it's just there to probably just try and make you buy crisps or chips if you're in America. I think it's an absolutely brilliant game, and it's one of the ones that is brilliant to play on headset against everybody else, because all you can hear is just ridiculous amounts of profanity because it just drives you nuts, but it's a great game. So number 2 hopefully shall be as fun. So the next thing I want to talk about is the Wii U. We did say at one point that some of the engines aren't going to be working on the actual Wii U, and there's more details that have actually come out about this. So the Frostbite 3 engine, which is actually going to be supporting Battlefield, the new Mass Effect games, Dragon Age and such, they've actually stated that they've actually tried the engine on the Wii U, and it's actually resulted in not too promising results, leading to the company completely abandoning their efforts to actually get it on the Wii U. Then Epic Games stepped in talking about the Unreal 4 engine, and they said that that also doesn't currently run on the Wii U. They did state though the actual people that create games on that engine are able to port across, but they've got to do it themselves. The engine will not do that, so it just sounds like that's quite a lot of work for a developer to do. Not only make a game for multiple platforms, but then have to kind of bring it into the Wii U, so it don't sound too good for people that are making it on that engine. And then on top of all that, Avalanche, the developers, have actually turned around and said they've actually got some Wii U development kits, and they was contemplating bringing over just cores over to the Wii U. And they've simply stated that their development kits are now just collecting dust. They did say that they actually did want to get this game out to as many people as possible, and it's not down to them if they can actually put it onto the Wii U. Obviously, it's down to the people above them. So when they actually stated that, they was simply questioning that, is this because the Wii U has so low sales? And his reply was, yes, actually it is. So it sounds like obviously the people above are saying you're not going to spend your time, resource and money porting this to the Wii U because the sales aren't great. So it's kind of catch-22 with that situation now. The Wii U is not selling very well because it's not got great games, but some of the games aren't coming to the Wii U because there isn't that many units being sold. So it is a rock and a hard place at the moment. Woo! Now I've got that bit out the way. It's time. You know what time. It's EA time. And I feel dizzy. So first of all, let's get some facts and figures out of the way to do with EA. First thing is, it's coming to the end of the quarter, so therefore EA sales are in, and they are at $1.209 billion. That is just a ridiculous amount of money, and that is for the quarter. But in good news for us, that is actually down from last year's quarter, which is actually at 1.368 billion. So they've actually got a little less than they did, but we're still talking billions here, so it's just ridiculously stupid. But at the same time, it's now found out that EA has now laid off 900 members of its staff. Now, I would automatically think, oh, profits are down, they're laying people off, but no, apparently the reason behind it is simply because, and this is their words, they're emphasising that it's a business in a period of transition due to the coming launch of the next generation consoles. But to me, I would have thought you would need more hands on deck during this period, simply because not only are you creating games for the current gen, you're creating them for the next gen, so you are actually doing more work. Therefore, I would assume you need more people, but this is EA. So the next thing I want to talk about is that obviously EA got their hands into Mass Effect and I believe they damaged it. We could blame it on BioWare, I don't know. I'm not going to point fingers, but the ending wasn't so good. And Star Wars fans may be feeling my pain very soon because EA now have the rights for the actual franchise. But again, it's going to people like BioWare and the people that actually made Dead Space, so we could see something quite good. And I think the developers have the talent to do it. I think the problem is, when it comes down to crunch time, it's the EA that are actually tapping their hand on the watch saying, come on, it needs to be done. And I think they're the one that kind of push it and force it through right towards the end, and that's when the game turns. So it all depends really. We've got some decent developers on the game, but we've also got EA cracking that whip. So will it turn Star Wars games into it's EA, so probably. And it means you get lots of microtransactions, which is absolutely awesome. And then the thing that really did actually make me laugh, this is just textbook EA all over. With the recent shootings and a lot of things going off, especially in America, all about saying we should ban guns and all such things, EA said now they're going to actually terminate their contract with arms dealers. So when they actually make Battlefield games, if they have realistic weapons in there, they obviously pay a license to the manufacturers for using the weapons, sounds and names and such. So EA have actually turned around and says, we're going to cancel our agreement with you and we're no longer going to pay for all these weapons. Which made me think, well, that sounds like EA are actually doing something good. That's a bit weird. Then I found out what they actually meant was, we're still going to use the weapons, the sounds, the names. We're just not going to pay them anymore. We don't think we should be paying licensing fees. So they've just said, we're not paying you and we're still going to use your guns. Then the EA president simply responded by saying that a book doesn't pay for saying the word cult, for example. Now, so when he said that, it kind of made me go, well, you're half right, because when you read a book, it does say, like, he's got a Colt 45, and you've used their words, and they don't pay anything to the actual rights to the people that own their actual weapon. But on the other hand, it's just simply because when you're reading a book, they're just talking about a thing. You are not experiencing it, you get no joy from it, it's just simply saying a Ford Mondeo went down the road. It's describing something. Whereas when it comes down to games, you actually experience the weapon, you get the joy from actually firing it, you get the sounds, you get to feel it, so you do actually kind of use the weapon as such. And it's the same when you actually play in racing games. Obviously, developers have to pay the actual manufacturers for the rights to use such actual vehicles, the way they look, the name, the actual sounds, absolutely everything. They have to pay the rights for all that. And to be fair, if I made a product and somebody took that product and put it in a game and let somebody experience my product without purchasing it, I would still want to get a kickback from it. I understand driving a car or shooting a weapon is nothing like it in real life, but you have to understand that there is some form of enjoyment and aspect you get from that. And the person that created that product gets nothing. So obviously that's why you actually pay a licensing fee, and I kind of agree with that. I think that should be the case. But EA have turned around now and said they are just simply refusing to pay for the actual licensing fees to the guns manufacturers now, so they're going to keep all that money for themselves and just still use the weapons. So typical EA tactics then. And the last thing to talk about is Battlefield 3 servers have actually got a DDoS attack, which for anyone that doesn't know, it's a denial of service attack, which simply works if a server is used to get in 100,000 people on it, you choke it and pretend that there's actually 1 million people there and the servers just can't handle it. So EA have actually responded that they're trying to work out what this is happening. It's been happening over the last entire week. So EA has said they're absolutely disappointed with the people doing that. And on one hand, I am. Now, I can understand why some people actually attack particular places, and EA being a great target to actually attack. But the problem is, by doing a DDoS attack, it actually doesn't at all affect EA. They've already got a name, you can't tarnish that. Not going to lose money because people just can't connect to a server. Fair enough, a few people might be trading in their copies, but to be fair, it's not as if people are buying brand new copies of it anyway now. The only people you are affecting are the players that have actually forked out hard-earned cash for the game, for the season pass, or for the actual DLC, and you're denying them the actual service to actually play it, which I think is an absolutely stupid thing to do. So when these hackers go out and actually take down government websites and stuff like that, that's not so bad because it's not exactly it's providing a massive service, and on top of it, it's done there to try and get in the press and say, look what people are doing kind of thing. But when you're actually doing a DDoS attack against EA on a particular game, it's not massive news, and you are just affecting the people that, to be fair, should have the right to connect to that server. So stop about. So, the next things I want to talk about is new games. So I did speak a few months ago that Telltale was actually obviously working on The Walking Dead Season 2, and they did actually say that they had something in store in between. Obviously, the Season 1's finished, Season 2, and there's got something they're going to be releasing in between. I was quite narrow-minded and just thought, how can you make another Walking game between 1 and 2? But now it's come out, they're not actually talking about Walking Dead, they're actually doing a new comic book series altogether. And this time the choice is a comic book by the name of Fables. Now, I do enjoy comics, I've got a few of them back there, but Fables is a comic series that I know nothing about whatsoever. But what we do know is that it's actually going to be a prequel, and it's actually going to be following one particular character by the name of Bigby Wolf. So this new actual game series is going to go by the name of The Wolf Among Us. And from what little screenshots are out at the moment, the game does look as good as Walking Dead, if not just a few tiny bits better. So I'm very interested to see when a trailer comes out, and to be fair, I'll probably be dropping top dollar on that game because I enjoy The Walking Dead so much. I don't think that company can do wrong really when it comes down to comic book rehashers. If it comes down to Jurassic Park point and click reaction event stupid things, then yeah, they can f that up. So the next thing I want to talk about is another Kickstarter project that I've actually found and also funded this week by the name of Stomping Land. Now, to set the actual idea, I absolutely love Days. I love the idea of a big gigantic map and you go out and survive. So this really does feel a lot like Days, but just imagine that you've got nice open plains, no buildings or anything. You're on a beautiful tropical island as such. But instead of having zombies, replace them with big f***ing dinosaurs. And that's exactly where I pulled my wallet out and paid for the game. So the idea of this game is you are just a person surviving on the island, and there is dinosaurs around, and you have to kill the small dinosaurs to obviously harvest food, but by doing so the smell of blood will attract T-Rexes, and then with that, to try and stop animals doing it, you can either try and distract them, set up traps. I think the video was just showing some alpha shots off at the moment, and from what they've done already, it looks really good. So when it comes to actually coming out, I think this game is going to be an absolutely amazing gem. So link is down below, definitely go and check that one out. And the best thing about it, I think they want £20,000, which is absolutely nothing compared to some of the actual game budgets which were requested on Kickstarter. And within the first day, they already got the 20,000. I think time I funded it was on about 22,000. So it sounds like they're actually going to be able to get a lot of money out of this. But what they do on Kickstarter is if you actually think you're actually going to get a lot of money, you kind of set targets. If we got this much more, we'll also add this to the game. And they've said if they manage to get up to 200,000, what they're going to do is bring in full Oculus Rift support. Now the idea of running around, killing and fleeing from dinosaurs with Oculus Rift just excites the hell out of me. To be fair, I think I'm more excited about getting an Oculus Rift than I am about the next generation of consoles. So the other little gem that I found yesterday morning, you definitely need to check this trailer out, is it starts off simply with a very Minecrafty feel, but if you could inject 10 billion polygons into it, it looks lush. It starts off with a character that's crash landed in a plane, he tries to escape and then just survive. So again, a very survival feel going on with this. The first thing he does is get a pickaxe and he goes to actually chop down a tree to craft an item. So it feels like Minecraft, but the point is when you actually hit the tree, each time you take a swing, you can see parts of the bark coming off until it snaps and actually falls. So it's not actually just going to spawn instant wood, it's actually going to drop trees. So first of all, when I saw that, I thought that looks very interesting. Then he actually started to use the wood to actually make some form of primitive hut that he was going to live in. And all of that looked absolutely great. And to be fair, the graphics are on par with Dear Esther, so very nice graphics. And the trailer's going at that kind of pace, making me go, I'll probably purchase this. And then the actual person goes into a cave and all f***ing hell breaks loose. Now, if you ever watched The Descent and seen them horrible creepy things that run around in the caves, it's like them. So this is a survival massive giant sandbox horror. Now I think this is absolutely brilliant because the thing is with horror games, they tend to be kind of lineal, or I wouldn't say on rails, but if a game's trying to make you scared, it's because something's been pre-scripted and they're going to go rah and get you a little scare out of you. So them games kind of feel a bit closed in, but to do it on a massive sandbox I think is very fresh and new. I've not really seen horrors which are on giant sandboxes. But this game did look scary as hell, and the best thing is, and it's instantly coming with Oculus Rift support. So I can't wait to buy the Oculus Rift to that's it. I'm going to put it on my face. I'm going to get a tube so I can just get fluids that way. Tube coming straight out so I can get rid of fluids that way, and that's it. I'm just going to be one with the Oculus Rift. So anyway, the game that I was talking about is called The Forest, and you definitely got to check the trailer out. It's only 1 minute long, and it just looks an amazing game. So again, link is down below. So that's me done and dusted. I've done quite well actually. Say I've been drinking all this vodka, I don't even feel that drunk because I'm hardcore. So that leaves us with the question of the week, and that is that most of the games I've just been talking about are PC only titles at the moment, and then they're going to obviously get ported across. And that's the thing with PC, they get some great games because games are developed on the PC, so it's easy to just export straight to the thing it was actually created on. And then eventually they get put down to consoles. Now I know that's not the case with AAA titles that kind of come out all at the same time, but when an indie developer or a small group is actually creating these games, they tend to come on PC only and sometimes go across the console. So this question is to the people that are console only players, and that is there ever been a PC game that you've actually seen and gone, I wouldn't mind purchasing a PC just for that? Now, I can't answer this question because I've always been a PC gamer. I love PC gaming, and I think over the next few years it's going to get even stronger, and I'm going to be playing more PC than I am console. Personally, if I had to answer the question pretending I didn't have a PC, I think I would have actually just gone out and purchased a PC just for days alone, especially the fact that the standalone game's coming out very soon. So that's your question of the week. You've been topped up with information and my opinions, and now I'm going to kick back and clock defiance because I'm going to sell it in the morning, along with my PlayStation 3, because to me that thing is dead now. There's no games that I want to keep it for. Well, there is one or two, but I can't justify keeping the console just for that, and I thought I might as well sell it before the new generation starts and it's worth nothing. So that's me done and dusted, guys. Lovely pint of vodka, and thank you very much for watching. Cheers, guys. Bye.